Size does matter, folks, from Dodger dogs to dinosaurs and driving ranges. The length of a thing can and will affect your ability to perform, and Instagram captions are no different. Is the short, quippy post best for your business, or is your post worthy of the writings of William Wordsworth? Don't listen to the gurus, the shamans, or the charlatans. Only the scientists can solve this one. And today, our social media scientist is cracking the code on Instagram posts. How long should your captions be to get the biggest buzz? Stick around, folks. It's the Social Media Lab Live.
Are you ready to use science to bust some myths in the social media ecosystem?
Great Scott!
Welcome to the Social Media Lab Live, brought to you by Agorapulse, where our social media scientists experiment on real accounts to crack the code on social media success for your business.
Type 5 to subscribe to the show.
Now your hosts, Owen Video and Scott Ayers.
Hey, welcome back to the Social Media Lab Live, where social media professionals like you get to bust the myths, rumors, and stories of social media marketing with science. We're live every Wednesday at 9 a.m. PST, dualcasting on Facebook and on YouTube, and you can join the tribe when you give me 5. That's right. Type 5 right down below to join the Social Media Lab Lounge, our private Facebook group for social media nerds. You can contribute to the show, get insider access, and more. Just type 5 into the comment section now. I'm Owen Video, your host MC, here with the #1 social media scientist, Scott Ayers. And today, our show is powered by Agorapulse, the #1 social media management tool for social marketers and small business. Do you want to schedule social media posts, respond to comments, and get more customers all from one easy-to-use interface? GetAgorapulseNow.com is your social media management solution. Toss your old software away and start your free trial today at GetAgorapulseNow.com. That's GetAgorapulseNow.com. Scott, so good to be here with you again today. It's another fine Wednesday. And today our show, it's kind of an important show today because the length, the character count of an Instagram post really matters.
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, if there's any sort of marketing value in how long you go or how short you go on any of the social media platforms, it's really important. And we've actually before looked at this on Facebook and on Twitter.
Right.
And so it's kind of made sense and on LinkedIn. We did a LinkedIn one as well. And so it's this is the last one that we needed to do. And so it's kind of cool to kind of hop into it and see if it makes any difference, or not.
Yeah, and I was really surprised at the differences between the different platforms, right? Because I think it would be easy to go, oh, well, hey, what works on Twitter is going to work on Facebook, but it's not actually the case. And so today, folks, you're going to hear some data that may be shocking. It may surprise you, and we're going to have a really good time. We're going to have a really good time digging into this content today. But first, I want to ask you, what do you think it's going to be? Do you think that the longer form posts, and this is kind of what I do, I tend to write longer form captions on Facebook. Do you think the longer forms are going to win, or do you think it's the shorter form we're going to win? I'd love to hear from our audience in the comment section down below. So let us know, what do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be longer form or shorter form? Please let us know. We're going to dig into this in just a quick minute. But man, Scott, I'm excited for something else also that's on the horizon. Should we tell the audience what it is?
Yeah, I'm in Texas, and so you're in California, and we are coming together tomorrow and for Friday and Saturday to the Video Marketing World.
Yes.
In Dallas, Texas.
Video Marketing World.
You are the head MC of this thing, right?
I am. Yeah, I am. I'm going to be the MC of the event, which I'm extremely excited for. This is the second year in a row. And this is that I'll be the MC, and it'll be the first year that I'm not wearing an ankle bracelet. So
they're letting you out of the state.
Yeah. I can go to the meetups. Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna have a great time, and you and I will actually be on a live a live video panel together. And that's going to be
right.
Really
that was
exciting.
kind of that kind of happened just by accident almost. I found out about here's the cool thing about live video. You were doing a live video show, I think with Judy Fox, talking about video marketing world. I hadn't heard of it yet, and I was like, wait a minute, this is like 2.5, 3 hours from me. I should go to this.
Yeah.
And so immediately I'm like, dude, give me a ticket. And so Owen hooked me up with a ticket, and then I'm like, hey, wait, there's a panel on live video. I need to be on this thing. And so we talked to Scott over at Video Marketing World, and sure enough, I weaseled my way onto the panel for live video. And so now, instead of just sitting in the audience blocking someone's view the entire 2 days with my hair, I'll get up on stage with you and Judy Fox, and there's someone else as well, and I forget his name. I'm sorry. So yeah, it'll be fun. That's towards the end of the day, I believe, on Saturday.
Super exciting. I love how you're like, it kind of happened by accident. By accident, I mean, I wrote the CEO and asked him if I could do it. Because that's kind of exactly what happened.
Some arm twisting.
But it's great to see you on the panel because, a lot of the video marketing conferences are really focused around becoming a famous creator, right? And a creator is a little bit different than a marketer. A creator is sort of the talent behind the show. You're kind of like the actor or the star, and there's nothing wrong with that. Many of my friends are creators, and we love them to death, but it's different than being a marketer, right? Because as a marketer, you're trying to, first of all, drive objective results, right? You're trying to drive some type of result that causes the business to say, we should continue paying you, right? And so you've got a little bit of a different platform there. And we're also at Video Marketing World, we're platform agnostic, right? So we're not necessarily a YouTube conference or a Facebook Live conference or even a LinkedIn video conference for that matter. We're going to have experts in all of those fields. And this is happening in Dallas, Texas this weekend. And if you haven't got a ticket, we're sold out. So we're not actually promoting the event. Yeah, the event is sold out. But we do want you to
people.
Yeah, we do want you to follow the hashtag Video Marketing World and stay in touch because there's going to be a lot of great content happening that week, and we want to keep you informed on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. Big shout out to our audience watching us right now on Facebook Live and on YouTube. And we're actually doing some watch parties as well. So if you're watching in the Video Marketing Learning Center group, great to see you. Be sure to ask your questions in the comment area. You might also be watching on the Owen Video page, on the social media hat page, or the social hat page, and the Agora
social media hat.
Social media hat page and the Agora Pulse lab page. So we're doing multiple.
We're
different,
like everywhere.
watch
and
parties.
Right now, I can see on another screen our buddy Joel Com, who I'll be speaking with at Social Media Day Denver, said I had nice hair and I'm interesting too. So I appreciate that, Joel. He's watching the watch party in our group.
I'll tell you, of all, Joel Com, the only man I've ever loved. That's true.
Right. You're right. Yeah. He can't help but love the guy.
It's a true statement. It's a true statement. I want to welcome our audience. Kevin Colby, you're doing great work, Kevin Colby. Karinder Singh, great to see you. Daniel Gerlov, Ryan Brodenbeck, the man. Spyglass Realty out in Austin, Texas. Love that guy. Ignacio Lidahover, the world's greatest editor. And Luis Flores Huera Piedra is logging in. Also want to say what's up to Jason Webster, Fabian Ortiz, my man, Sarah Hecker, Naomi Nakashima, one of our top fans. George Demanis is back. George Demanis, where the heck have you been, George? Great to see you. Sarah Monroe is here. And we got a lot of great comments happening right now. George Demanis, we asked the question earlier, does size matter? When you write an Instagram post, do you write an essay? And I tend to write essays. Or do you just kind of say, what do you think, right? Do you leave it short form, call it long form and short form? Which do you think is going to outperform? George Demanis says, I think it depends on the content. I think that's wise. Way to walk the line, George Demanis. Way to walk the line there. 1 foot in, 1 foot out, Sarah Monroe in the same camp says, I think it depends on the audience. Carinder is saying, Facebook and Twitter size doesn't matter, but Instagram and LinkedIn, it does. I don't know about that, Scott. Is that like a fact of life, or is there some other direction you'd go on that one?
I mean, so far, and then we can talk about our previous studies that we've done. I think that's kind of important. When we looked at Facebook, for example, posts that were less than 140 characters actually got about 50% more comments, about 35% more reach, and 91% more likes. So shorter was better when it came to Facebook. Twitter was a little bit different. Twitter, we saw an increase in the impressions. It was about 7.5 to 8% higher when it was over 140 characters. So when we pushed the 280 character limit, where the retweets and everything else was almost a virtual tie. And then when we go to LinkedIn, short text posts got the most impressions. So it's kind of so far short has done the best, but the Twitter thing kind of threw me off a little bit because, you think less is more, but it may not be the case on Twitter according to the data. So I think on Instagram it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, we're gonna dig into that data today. Alicia Shapiro is saying I do both, and we've got George Demanis is saying I am here for Scott's size. That's why he. Oh, his caption size. Okay, all right, okay, good. All right, good, George Demanis.
I had been working out, so I thought maybe he was talking about my guns.
It's true, and you do. Those 5Ks are really. I can see it. I can see it in you. So, Scott, let's dig into...
I'm running to Dallas. I'm not driving. I'm going to run the 180 miles.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. The marathon to Dallas. Scott shows up a sweaty, panting mess. I made it.
With the wig on, like Forrest Gump style,
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it. Tank top and everything. So let's talk about it today. We've got sort of this diversified audience opinion, and let's talk a little bit about it today. First off, Scott, dig us, kind of take us through the study and what it is that you are actually looking at here and what your hypothesis ended up being.
All right. So Instagram allows you up to 2,200 characters, which has got to be a lot to type in this, and up to 30 hashtags, which don't count towards that 2,200 characters.
Really?
So we looked at a couple of studies. Yeah, it doesn't count towards it, which is kind of interesting. From my understanding anyway, it doesn't count towards it. We looked at some studies out there, HubSpot being the one we could find the most on. Their study said that the ideal length was under 125 characters on Instagram. So that's kind of where we based our hypothesis on and kind of stuck to that theme. So our official hypothesis for this Instagram test was Instagram posts with under 140 characters will garner more engagement and reach, because just kind of basing off of what we saw with HubSpot and a few others, and a lot of the opinions. Again, a lot of times these opinions they're just based on, Owen makes 2 posts with 5 characters and it does well, and so he teaches everybody that. But there's not really any science behind that other than Owen's posts.
Right,
and so we kind of don't have a lot to go on. Yeah, it's a lot of it's very subjective a lot of time. Even the HubSpot one, what they do, and a lot of people will do, and it's not knocking to anybody who does this, is
Except
they'll pull
HubSpot,
a big set
apparently.
of data. Well, I love HubSpot actually. But a lot of these data sets, what they'll do is they'll pull data sets from thousands of accounts that you don't know any strategy that's involved. You don't know if they're, are they active accounts or are they dead accounts, or is it just junk? And so we don't know exactly what those accounts' purposes was. And then they just take that data and split it up and then report on it, which is great when they can say, we looked at 5 million Instagram posts or whatever it might be and put out data. That's pretty huge, but it's not intentional. It's not intentionally posting during a certain specific period of time on a certain schedule,
right?
And those sort of things. And that's where we're a little bit different when we do our study. We may not be looking at 500,000 Instagram posts, but we're very specific and intentional with the testing.
Yeah, and I think that the accounts that you're measuring from are more similar to the accounts that our audience is managing, right? Most of you out there are social media managers. In fact, how many of you out there are a social media manager? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section, right? What do you call yourself? A social marketer, social media manager? I know we got Rob Reese, the man, is out there, and I would say Rob Reese is either a digital marketer or an affiliate marketer, maybe. What do you call yourself? What's your title? Let us know in the comment section. Love to hear from you guys on this one. But I think that the accounts that you're testing are really more similar to the accounts that we're running. A lot of B2C stuff, also some B2B stuff. So you're kind of getting into some interesting stuff. And you tested from 6 different accounts on this one, which is bigger than what you normally do.
Yeah, this was the first for this one. I've been working on for the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, building a bunch of different little niche Instagram accounts that are, halfway entertainment, but also just kind of typical stuff you see on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of fun to start to include those in these tests. And what it helps me is get a better playing field. Richard Beeson, who's my co-host in the podcast, is talking about, are we testing an audience? Or are we testing the algorithm? I want to test the algorithm. I don't want to test an audience, because what happens to your account, and if you're a shoe company, what happens to you is going to be a lot different than me as a digital marketer. It's going to be a lot different. So we want to make sure we get different things and kind of average them together. So for this one, what we did, I know what I'm trying to do on these blog posts too is I'm not looking for followers on these accounts from the lab. So we've blurred out the names and all that kind of stuff. But I have a account that's dedicated to pets and animals, just kind of a fun, cute little thing with it's got about 12,000 followers on the stupid thing.
We need to get our sound effects back. We need our sound effects
there you
back.
go.
That's a good worthy.
So we got the one with pets. I've got one that's dedicated to semi trucks and 18-wheelers. My dad was a trucker, so I've had this account for a very long time, just playing around with it and testing with it over the years.
That's fun.
I've got a fitness account that I get some great photos. And this is a hat tip. I don't know if Dustin's watching. Dustin has this really cool product called SoVisual.co, where he gives you this images. Didn't give him, you got to pay him, but he sells these images for a really cheap subscription, and I'm using all of his images on this account, which is fun. I've got one.
That's a great business that he has over there.
It is, and it's the fitness industry too is really hot on Instagram. I mean, if you go in and do a hashtag, hashtag fitness, hashtag gym, whatever, fit fam. I mean, you'll get a lot of activity and stuff. So fitness is a really, really hot thing on Instagram because it's all about the images. And so this account's one of my passion accounts that I like to play around. And I am with all. And I have two others as well we'll talk about. But all these accounts, the real goal is to test, but also I'll run ads with these. I'll push products with these. So it's not just an entertainment account. I'll run ads. I'll run stories that lead to ads and stuff like that down the road. So it's not just, someone could say, I'm trying to keep away from people poking holes. Well, these are just fun pages. Well, yeah, they're fun pages, but there are going to be some business aspect for me, when I do start pushing links and products. But right now I'm building a community with all of them. Yeah. The other two accounts there's one dedicated to motorcycles. And there's one dedicated to just motivational, inspirational quotes that were used in this test. And on top of this, we also did use the Agora Pulse Instagram account for this test. We're starting to use the Agora Pulse account a little bit less now because we have a lot more strategy going on with Agora Pulse now that we have Jennifer on as our social media manager. Before, it was our guinea pig. And so sometimes your business account may not be the main guinea pig for all these tests. And so we're not going to use it as much. We're going to use the Agora Pulse account a lot of times to validate the different tests. And so maybe I do it on these test accounts and come back and ask Jennifer, hey, do 2 posts like this, 2 posts like that. Let's see if it equals out. That's kind of what we're working on now for that.
Now, you did some really interesting things in terms of controlling the test, too, and Melissa did a great job of showing you guys some examples of what those posts look like. But Scott also put some pretty strong parameters in place to make sure that we were, controlling the experiment. Scott, review those with the audience. So you had a few important aspects regarding these posts. You want to run through those real quick?
Yeah, we'll run through those fast. And then the point of these is we want to make sure we remove all the anomalies that we can. So at first we had no hashtags in these posts because if a hashtag is going to skew the results immediately. So no hashtags. The time of day varied for each post when it came to long. So we made sure that, Tuesday might have been an early, post with a long, and a late post was short. Wednesday would be opposite. So we varied it up as much as we can. That way we kind of get a baseline. The posts, there were no ads run with these posts. There weren't videos. They were just photos. We're only studying photos. Emojis were used. We've talked about emojis a lot here on the live show. Yeah. There's no emojis used. Again, we're not trying to skew anything. We just want to look at the text. And then what we've done on all these tests about character length, and it's an old wig tip to Twitter. Anything short we consider under 140 characters. Anything long is over 140 characters. So it's just the way we've done it with every social account, just to kind of have some sort of way to test it easily. So that's kind of the parameters that we did on the specific posts themselves.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the study yourself. Now, again, those niches that we ran from was a SaaS company, a pets company, a trucks company, and those were semis. And when it comes to size, I think it's important we include semis. Okay, that's just something I wanted to. That's a pun that I felt had to make its way into the show. Fitness, motorcycles, quotes, and inspiration. So these are actually pretty big industries on Instagram, and we're going to dig into some of these results. But first, I want to take a look at some of the titles that y'all are using. Rob Reese is saying, I'm a digital marketer, but I do affiliate marketing. I love to hear that. Sarah Monroe says, I'm a social media coach. Doesn't do much management, but actually helps businesses. Sarah Bleichner is saying social media coach / marketer / manager. So it's a lot of that there. Fabian Ortiz says, I am a old man, according to my kids. So I love to hear that as well. You know, it's funny because I try to avoid that with my kids. I got a handful of kids, most of whom I'm pretty sure are mine. You know, I tell them all the time, you guys are young bucks. Like, don't even start to call me old. You guys don't even know. You guys are you're not even adult. You're not, even when you're 18, you will be a baby adult. You'll be a baby adult. So don't even talk to me about being old yet. Alicia Shapiro is a social media agency, but we do social media management and done-for-you services. Really, really cool. Glad to have you guys here. Rigor Onofsted is asking about the hashtag. So let's answer this question, and then we'll go into the survey or to the study results. Thank you. I appreciate those laughs and hearts that are popping up right now. Rigor is saying, so then the 30 hashtags that we talked about a few weeks ago, we should put in a separate comment and not in the post. We actually talked about that. So set the record straight. You didn't use hashtags in this study because you didn't want to skew your results from account to account. But in general social media posting, do we want to put the hashtags in the caption, or do we want to put those in a separate comment?
Yeah, we didn't use hashtags at all in the caption or the comments. In our study that we did previously with 30 hashtags, they perform better in the original caption. I think about 23 to 25%, if I remember right. The reach or impressions, whatever you want to call it, was a little bit higher, was much higher when we left it in the original caption. So if you're going to do it, I think you should put it in the caption, get it out there immediately. Don't stuff it in the comments. So
Rigor, and for all of you guys watching this right now, you know, and here's what I do with sort of what I learn even from Scott on the show is I take it all in stride and I try to apply it to like the perfect Instagram post. And I'll say, well, this image is, you know, asking a yes or no question. So I'll use a shorter form post. I'll use 30 hashtags. And I'll tag 4 people, you know, that kind of thing. I put together recipes and I gauge my results. And so what I would do, Rigor, is as you're putting these together, you know, I would put your hashtags inside the caption. That definitely works better for me. Although the posts you'll see today don't have the hashtags because they were part of a controlled experiment. So Rigor, are we going to see you at Video Marketing World this year? Let me know in the comment area. So Scott, talk to us about what you found. What were your results in running this test from 6 different Instagram accounts?
Well, there's a lot of inconsistencies account per, and you can go to the blog post. I'll actually post a link in the comments. Y'all can go read that after the live show. Don't leave us after I put it in there. But there's a lot of inconsistencies, and that's why it's important to take a grouping of accounts and then kind of put them all together. You know, most of them, if we kind of go through them, I don't want to dig into each individual one or what kind of graphics we have here, but the shorter, like for Agora Pulse, for example, the likes on our shorter posts were 89% higher. Comments were almost 86% higher. Reach was almost 43% higher on the Agora Pulse account using shorter updates, which again were under 140 characters. And then if we go over to, like, say, the fitness account itself, likes were even on it. There was, I mean, literally virtually even. Comments were higher on the shorter posts, but reach was a little bit higher on the longer posts. You're kind of already seeing some inconsistencies between those two accounts. We run over to the quotes page. Likes were longer. Were better on the longer posts, even on comments, and then a little bit higher on the reach. So we just kind of kept seeing this. I don't know if you can pop those up. We don't have to go through each one of them probably. But like the bikes, you can kind of see how shorter did better, even with comments. If we look at the animal one, the comments on the longer posts were much, much higher.
Yeah.
Ironic, surprising. I mean, by a big amount. And then look at semi trucks. It was all longer posts. Did better on it. So that's interesting for me, but it's also one of those things that helps me realize we've got to test some more accounts. We've got to take a lot of accounts and put them all together and average, because again, I don't want to test an audience. I want to test the algorithm. And that's real key on us. So that's kind of what it looked like per account.
So let's go back to the Agorapulse results here, because I want to ask you some questions and try to dig into this, because Agorapulse has, a product or service, whereas, trucks and fitness is sort of an industry, right? So,
right.
It would appear to me that some of these results are based on the relationship the audience has to Agorapulse and the likelihood that that audience will see the post in the newsfeed because of their engagement, with the brand. What do you see here? What do these results, Scott, tell you, our social media scientists, about how the algorithm on Instagram works?
That it's unpredictable, for one. That's the first one. And you just don't know. Your account's going to be a little different every time you test it. But I think the important thing here that I learned from this is, again, I like to together. I do think your point about the relationship with the Agorapulse being a brand and a product that people have a face to,
right?
Might
or a wig too,
be a little bit different than. Or a wig. Then, when I like the truck page, for example, even though I'm really active on that, and I'm active on that account, I go to other people's accounts all the time and comment. So I'm not just blasting stuff and letting it sit there.
Right.
The longer ones did much better on that one, because I think the people who follow that page are passionate about 18-wheelers, truck drivers. They're guys who are into automobiles and and so they engage with the longer stuff because it was a little bit more an interesting kind of, what's the word I want to look for? Story, that I was telling in the post itself.
Can you growl again?
Yeah, kind of I almost did like a Hulk thing, like.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good. I wanted to catch that on my Instagram story. I'm actually over here on Instagram right now with my story as we speak. Questions from our audience. Do you guys in the audience have any questions or comments coming in? Ask them in the comment area, because I'll tell you. Sometimes studies like this actually create more mystery than they actually do solve. Because I'm actually seeing a whole lot of, like with the Agorapulse, I see relationship happening, and you see a shorter post. So, what you see is it's Agorapulse, the company I use for social media, right? My friend Mike, my friend Jennifer, my friend Scott, my friend Emmerich. I'm going to stop on that post, right? So I don't need as much there to get me to stop. Similarly, on the fitness one, or may I should say conversely, right? On the fitness one, a longer post gets more attention because I'm stopping on the post longer. So I'm seeing this image and I'm going, okay, what do we have here? And I'm stopping on the post, and it's maybe triggering the algorithm and saying, oh, Owen stopped on this for 7 seconds, right? So he must like this. So let's show it to more people. Let's show it to 10 people in his network. Again, guys, we're hypothesizing here, and we do know that the amount of time that you spend on a post on Facebook, who owns Instagram, does affect your ability to get out into the news feed. Rachel Y. Johnston is saying, hello, Owen and Scott. Good to see you. Rachel. Rob Reese is saying, did you already discuss frequency of posts and time of day? Scott, review that for us real quick. I believe you talked about time of day, but did you talk about the frequency of the post?
For this test, we were doing 2 posts a day during this test. So every day got one short, one long, and it alternated morning to evening on the short and the long. Yeah, is kind of what we did on this. Now,
and I know that
if he's asking about frequency overall or what time to test, we haven't done that. We are testing. We do have a post coming up soon about cutting our posting strategy in half. And that'll be an interesting one. The results on that were quite interesting. Just a teaser.
Yeah, we've got Ryan Rodenbeck watching in Austin, Texas, who actually teaches Instagram for Real estate agents, Ryan, be curious if you have any thoughts or insights. Do you use longer or short form posts when you post? Scott, and we want to welcome David Simon, who just popped in. I love watch parties, man. Like when we do watch parties, I see the names pop up right
cool.
here.
I noticed today, I put it in the comments. I don't have, this is just talking about live video now. I don't have the invite option to invite my friends into the live video today. So
is that on a watch party or
enough,
is that on?
No, on the actual Agora Pulse video. I don't have the invite. I don't know if it's a feature change. The watch party thing's right there.
Yeah,
that wasn't there before. It was down in the bottom. But yeah, just a little side note. It's kind of maybe it's a change on Facebook.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. What is the posting copy on this video right now? If you're watching this from the Agora Pulse page, does it say the Great Debate or does it say Instagram Alert? I'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comment area, because the Great Debate is the copy that we used to pre-schedule the event.
Right.
But then before we go live, like every morning, every Wednesday, I come in like a freight train. I'm like, no, change all of this. Change all of this. You know what I mean? And so I changed it to, so Sarah Hecker is saying the Great Debate, does size really matter? So that's interesting. So even when I changed it and saved it and refreshed the page to confirm the change, it didn't take. So that's interesting. I'm wondering if that's a flaw, a fluke, or just the way it is. Alicia Shapiro is saying, Scott, I have an invite button above the comments under the caption. You know, Scott, I don't see it. Yeah. No, I do see it. Like the little man with the plus sign.
Yeah, he's always usually there.
Yeah, I see mine right there. And we want to say what's up. We want to just give a big shout out to Fabian and George Demanis, who have been watching since the beginning. So we're glad to have you guys here. So here's my question for you is, when do we use the shorter form post? You know, because I think for me, I use shorter when my image is strong and my image itself is asking a question or creating some type of, like, I might have an image that's like yes or no or something like that. You know, then I might just say something like, what do you think? But if my image is sort of like an Instagram-y image, you know, like a professional headshot of me or like a, you know, kind of image, then I tend to tell a story. And I use more. What are your suggestions, Scott, for when to use long form and when to use short form?
Yeah, first, if Melissa, if you don't mind, we had the combined image. The averages image. We could put that up real quick. This is what our combined averages were. Likes were basically dead even. Comments were a little bit better for short posts, and the reach was a tiny bit higher on the short post. Which kind of, if we went to our actual conclusion on the post, shorter Instagram posts were a little bit higher on the comments and reach, but it's not enough to, like this says there, not enough to warrant a stream. So when should you use long versus short? What I get from this study is size doesn't really matter necessarily. It just depends on the post itself. You may warrant, writing a paragraph, or Instagram something. When you get to that read,
right? Yeah, and I'll tell you,
blog post. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just talking because it felt like your internet dropped.
Oh, is it back?
Kind of.
Dead air.
You're shaky.
Oh.
You're shaky.
Kind of.
So no strategy change. So you were saying, when to use long versus short. Your analysis, Scott?
Right. I think it's going to depend on the post itself. It depends on your audience and what you're seeing engagement with. But I don't think you shouldn't feel like you have to go crazy long. I do suggest going at least 75 characters because that pops up that little read more option, which is going to entice people to click on it and go into more, which helps you in the algorithm.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. George Demanis is logging in saying, so you're saying size doesn't matter, it's how you use it. And with that, we're logging off, guys. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Social Media Lab Live. I hope that this is effective for you in building a more effective Instagram strategy, not just for you, but for the clients that you serve. Now, if you aren't getting alerts for the Social Media Lab Live, you can cue the music anytime. I'm just going to keep talking until I hear it. There we go. There it is. Type 5 into the comment section now, and we'll see you guys next week on the Social Media Lab Live.
Thank you for watching the Social Media Lab. brought to you by Agorapulse, where we use science to crack the social media code. Join us live on Facebook and YouTube to find out what's working and what's not working in social media.